Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole. The statements in the following broadcast are not necessarily the opinions of the Madness Comic Network, its staff, sponsors, or contributors. This show is rated TVMA, as are all of them and all those other letters. Viewer discretion is highly advised, and, just do what Doc says. Read that again. Peace, everybody.
The Madness Comic Network and comic-related madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you brought your coffee. It's Tuesday, and we're here for the Tuesday morning brew. I have my coffee ready. It's just breakfast blend with my own personal, I make my own coffee creamer. I know. Don't come for me. I do all the things. What doesn't Laurie do? But I love making my own coffee creamer. It's delicious. If you ask me about it, I might tell you what's in it. I might not, because it's a secret recipe. But I'm so excited to have you guys here today. We have a great guest. We're talking supernatural comics. I know you guys think that I just read Western, I just read horror. I read everything. And I love Angels versus Demons. I got to tell you that. But before we get started, Path of the Pale Rider, issue number 5. We have 2 pages left for Gilbert to sketch out. with the big twist at the end. So remember, don't come for me. We're gonna mess with your emotions again, especially in this issue because it's a stepping off point. So really close to seeing every single page in development. I think Matt has like 7 pages left. We're right around there. So should be done before the end of October. That is still the plan. We have 30 days to get it done. Let's pull it together, people, right? Also, I got a delivery from one of my good, and oh my God, this is from Lee Newman. And I love Lee Newman, but holy tape, man. I thought I had gotten this out. There's still more tape. So much tape. But at least I know my comic is in good shape when it gets here. And I got, holy, you have to look. I got all the things in the back. That's amazing. Carabas. I said it wrong. You know, it is the tears of my readers, but that's in a different cup, Carrie. Or was that Lou? Who said that? Lou. This one. This is the tears of the readers. This is what I drink after I release issues. And you guys get to the end and then you send me the message that says, why? This is what I'm drinking. Dan, you want one of these? We'll have to talk about it. We'll get you one of these. Yeah. I know you want one. All right. So if you guys aren't reading Lee Newman's stuff, why not? He writes Sasone. This is his new series with the barbarian queen and her lizard friend named Slink. And Lee is one of the funniest writers there is. In fact, for the Heroic Awards that happened in 2024, yeah, it was the first ever. He took away Best Story with Sasone. So if you guys are not reading Lee Newman, you're missing out, man. He's one of the few ones that I always take with me when I go to cons. His books are on my table, and that's saying something. All right, guys, let's get this show started. Let me bring on our wonderful guest. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Laurie. Doing well. It's beautiful weather here in sunny Springfield, Missouri.
Missouri. I was going to ask you where you were. I know there's so much weather-related issues going on right now. So I was like, are you safe? Are you in a place that's actually okay? So Missouri is okay.
Missouri's okay. I got friends, family out in anywhere from Alabama all the way through the path of the hurricane, and yeah, just praying for all those people. A lot of people lost, still missing, and that's a scary part.
Yeah. Is it North Carolina? I think it's like East Tennessee and
Mm.
North Carolina, I think were not prepared. Um, from my experience, it's like we expect. I'm in Dallas, and so Texas gets the hurricanes, but it's like Houston that's affected. So if we had a flood like that, we would not be prepared because we would not be expecting that. Like, you know what I mean? By the
All
time it
right.
comes that far inland, it should be done. So that's what I think caught all these people off guard. It's terrible. It's
Well,
terrible.
that and I think there was a dam that burst in East Tennessee. Um, in that dam burst, I mean, who could prepare for that? So down on top of the hurricane, and yeah, lot of devastation out there. Way to
Yeah.
start it on a sad note.
Yeah, sorry, everybody, but we wanted to acknowledge current events, and our
Right,
hearts
right.
and thoughts are with people that are going through things, and hopefully there's a way we can all support and give them some help. So we'll do that. So anyway, so Dan, I'm so glad to have you with us on the show. You and I have not met before, but we have a friend in Joe Solis who is here on the show. Um, and he was a wonderful guest as well. So I just wanted to say I love when the show brings new people into my atmosphere where it's like these wonderful creators and we just don't ever have a chance to interact being from across the country or across the pond. And I really love that this show can do that. So let's go back to the beginning of Dan's journey. Let's start with your origin story. I want to know, and my chat wants to know, how you all got started in comics, reading comics, your influences, and then finally, what was it that pushed you over to making your own comics?
Make my own. So yeah,
Mhm.
ever since I was born a nerd, I grew up a nerd. No, I remember as a kid in elementary school going to the library and they would have like book fairs and stuff, and I was so drawn to the comics, and they had the hardback books. They had the origin
Mm.
stories of Fantastic Four, Thor, the Hulk, Iron Man, and Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy, and I fell in love with Spider-Man. And I don't know, maybe it's because I was a nerd, and just it just was my heart. And I'm like, man, Peter Parker could be my friend. And so, through Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and all the ones that every week I'd go every Tuesday get my comic book. Usually it was after like piano lessons or something. I guess my
Mm.
mom bribed me, and so I'm like, yeah, as long as I'm getting a comic book, yeah, let's do this. So
I think I
yeah,
got
and
bribed through piano lessons as well. So
right,
that's a thing,
it's
right?
it's a thing, I guess. Uh, but the thing is I always loved comics, but I could never draw. And ever
Hmm.
as a kid, my friends would go out and they'd sit there and they'd draw characters. And hey, look at my cool superhero, and I draw it, and it was just scribbles, and they were like, "You go draw over there."
Aw.
And I was like, "No, I need friends." And so, um, by the time I hit middle school, I started really working on my drawing,
Mm.
creating characters, just I don't know, just for the fun of it, and it wasn't until high school I created my first real character. We were playing a card game called Wildstorm. It was by Image, and it was all the Wildstorm characters, and
Mm.
but somebody back in the late '90s had a scanner, and so we all drew a character, and they made a card individualized for each person. And so my first character, he's actually in my series now.
Wow.
He has evolved to a different name, different origin story, but originally a guy made of hard metal rock, real small, like 3.5 foot tall, super
Oh.
thin, condensed, and he he was a crime fighter, a superhero, and now he is one of my team members, a guy named Golem. Now,
Oh.
generally, Golem is a giant clay
Yeah.
monster. Changed that. I changed that. He is still. He's made of carbonite. He's still the same small, thin, razor-like fingers and toes. Um, and he's got a lot of history to him. So I'm excited about having him out there. So,
See,
anyways,
see, wait. That's interesting to me. I find that your journey, well, first of all, there's a lot of people who have come on the show and said, like, I was reading Spider-Man as a kid. And I think like that was super influential on a lot of us that are indie comics right now. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. That and the fact that we can't draw. So if we can't draw, we got to write. Sorry.
yeah, and we have to raise a lot of money to find people who can draw,
Yes. Yeah.
like
And
Gilbert Monsanto, right? Is that the Gilbert you were talking about?
Gilbert Perez.
Gilbert
Gilbert
Press.
Perez is my artist, yes, and currently he's picked up with issue number 5. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's
I,
been weird. I have found all of my artists on social media, and the ones that have ended up working on Path, almost all of them have lived in Texas. Texas is a big place, but
wow.
the world is bigger, right? So
All
you
right.
would think that finding people on social media, there would be a chance that, they're in Michigan or they're in Brazil or it could be anywhere, but they're all in
You got them
Texas.
in Texas. Nice. Mine are worldwide, and yeah.
It's just
Um,
weird.
it's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gilbert Monsanto, he's my character artist.
Oh,
So
okay.
I give him an idea, I give him a rough sketch, very rough sketch, and he
Mhm.
comes out making them look just as I envisioned them. So
I laugh because that's me too, where I draw like the stick figures and I'm like, okay, now don't laugh because they're laughing. They're laughing at you. And you give them the idea, right? I work on another team with William Russell and some other artists working on Psycho Sal, and they always laugh at me. They're like, ha 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 ha. Like one time when the artist cut my art out and like fit it into the panel, and I was like, oh ha ha, isn't this so cool? Like he thought he was hilarious. So I was like, fix that.
Nice. It's like, no, I didn't pay you for that.
Yeah, no,
make
you
it
have
look
to
pretty.
turn out better work, right? You can't
Right.
take my work.
Right.
So continue. So you were in high school, and that's really cool that some of your original concept characters are still walking around, and I'm sure they had all this time to develop backstory and be fleshed out. So they're probably like super interesting. So we'll get into more of Gollum. But so you're writing in high school, you're creating characters. At what point were you like, I can do this?
Not until a long, long time later.
Yeah.
I was in college and I was taking a fiction writing class, and everybody else was drawing like Anne of Green Gables kind of stuff or Bridgerton type stuff. And I'm like, this is so boring. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear or read another one of these stories. And so that is when this very first issue came to me.
Mhm.
I I just had this idea about this giant battle,
Mhm.
um, and between angels and demons for the heart of a city, but the angels didn't win, and
Ooh.
so the city was devoured. It was covered in this eternal mist, and I mean this was what 2003, so
Mm.
21 years ago, yeah,
Oh my gosh,
and
2003 is not 21 years ago. I can't handle that.
no, it was last year,
It was last year.
2023.
Yeah,
2020. Yeah,
2003, last year.
yeah. So, um, as I wrote this, I'm like, man, this would be a really good comic. And a couple years later, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see what it takes. How can I make this into a comic book?
Yeah.
And so, I reached out to some people. Um, there was one Marvel artist I searched out to. He wrote a comic book kind of in the supernatural called The Illuminator. The creator was Glenn Herdling, and I reached out to him, and he reached back, and
Really?
yeah, so I told him my idea. He gave me the hey, this is really too hard. Here are all the steps you need to do, especially as a writer, non person with any
Non-artist?
drawing
Yeah.
skills, and um, I was like, yeah, that's too much. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it down, but then the story evolved, and the next part of this comic came to me, and the stories just kept building and building and building, and story after story, more characters started, and so I reached out, and they're like, "Well, you need an artist." So I was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
I don't have any money, so let's find an artist." So
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Isn't that how it
so
always goes? You're like, "I don't have
right.
any money."
Right,
Um,
nobody needs money.
yeah,
E-
let's go hire an artist.
Exactly, because they want to be famous too. So I can be poor and famous. They can be poor and famous. And so I reached out to some people, and they were like, "Yeah, you know what? I love it. I'll do it." And they sent me some artwork, and it was worse than mine.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "I guess you get what you pay for."
That Mhm.
And so I
Yes.
put it down. I was like,
Again, yeah.
"I can't do this." So about 6 years ago. Again, the stories were just, I mean, waking me up at night, keeping me up, and stuff that I just couldn't, just throughout the day, just daydreaming on. Like, I want to see this. And so, reached out to a guy. He is the owner of Comics 365, and I
Hmm.
I've done a couple interviews already, and I've said that, and I still cannot remember his name. I'm so sorry. Please, please, please don't beat me up. I mean, he's down in Mexico City, so he's not gonna fly up here and beat me up. I hope not. Um,
That's funny.
but he he gave me some great advice. He walked me through a lot of the process, and then he was like, "This is the way you need to present this." And he gave me a particular venue to give my comics away, and I'm like, "Can't do that. That's
Give
not my
away.
audience. That's not my platform. I don't have the money to just
Give away.
give this away." So again, this is like my third, like, okay, I'm done.
Gosh,
But
man.
right, so um, about 3 years ago, I reached out. I was looking through these because again, when it's almost like you're constipated, right? You're like you got this, it needs to come out, right? And
That's
it's
probably the best description for someone who just wants their story to be seen. I feel
right,
constipated. I need to get it out.
just like somebody. So I found Star-Crossed Comics and Joe Spicer.
Yes.
And Joe, I sat there and I was like, "Hey, I got this great idea for a comic." He's like, "Tell me." I'm like, "Hey, it's a story about angels and demons and the fall of the city, and the angel loses." And he's like, "That's terrible." I'm like,
Tell me more.
"What?" I'm like, "Hold on, let me just send you the story." He goes, "Okay, just send me the story." So I send him my story. He reads it and he's like, "Damn, this is really good. I like this. I'm invested. I want to see this." And ever since, he has walked me through all the steps, finding the right artist, um, given me opportunities like your show,
Mm.
teaching me just throughout this process. Him and the rest of the guys at Starcross. Again, I'll miss him. Evan David, Rafael Madrera,
Mhm.
James Nguyen. Um,
I've
um,
had Raph on the show too. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, we got incredible artists, incredible characters, great stories. Um, and again, I only named out like four of like the 12 guys that we
Yeah.
have. Carrie King. These guys have walked me through this, have been awesome mentors. And I couldn't have asked for better teachers.
Yeah. I gotta say, that's one thing that I think is essential for indie is the community. Finding a community because a lot of times um we start out and we have no idea what we're doing, but there's always that one person that is nice and generous with information and can say, "Hey, I've been where you are. What questions do you have?" And it's just open. I think that is so important. I had those as well when I first started. Christopher Brown, see this logo right here for Laughing Rogue? He
Mhm.
was very influential in my first campaign where I asked him 6 million questions like, what do you do this? And how do you do a survey? And where do you ship from? And what's VATS tax? And like he just was very patient and explained so many things to me that helped me be successful. So I'm so glad that you found that group of guys that will help you succeed. And that's really what it's about is that we all try to pitch in. Um, More people have to have this mentality, I think, where it's like you are not competition. You and I are both we're both products that people can enjoy. And if they like my story, they can like Dan's story. So why not? Why not everybody succeed? Right?
So what you're saying is you want to collab?
Sure. We sure
Okay, there we
could.
go.
I am not ignoring the chat, by the way. I wanted to hear your story uninterrupted, but good morning, Cosmic, Lou, Carrie, everybody's here this morning. Of course, Pops is in
Good
the chat.
morning. Hey,
Lou,
Pops.
Lou, you're so funny. You crack me up, man. Glenn Fleming, Glenn. This is a thing we do. It's just a thing. Carrie says, if you were born before September 4th, 1998, you are technically older than Google. This makes me want to cry. Thank you, Carrie, for calling me old. Carrie, the answer to your question is T. I'm not going to spoil it for everybody else, but the answer is tea. And Glenn says, I was born famous. Getting rid of it is far more difficult than getting it. And I believe you, sir. I also want to send a shout out to Maven over on Pilled. We are streaming on another streaming service called Pilled, and they are over there hanging out in the chat, listening to this wonderful conversation. So I just want to say hello, and I see you. Good morning. I hope you have your coffee. All right, back to the story. So you come up with your first script. Your guys are helping you get it out. Morning, what is this you speak of? Yeah, I know. See this shirt? Dead outside, still human inside. That's how my undead feel, but mostly it's how I feel in the morning. I need my coffee. Are you a coffee drinker, Dan?
I am allergic to coffee.
Oh no.
I love coffee. I had a little bit this morning and it beat me up. I'm not allergic to caffeine. I wake up bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, just like this.
Oh, I hate you.
Just like I was up at 3:30 this morning. So, yep,
Oh my God.
good. So yeah,
I'm so sorry, Dan. We all feel terrible for you. But if he is natural caffeine, like he wakes up like this, then it's fine. He's okay. Good morning.
Well,
Good morning, Al.
what's-
Whippa. My goodness.
What's up, guys? What's up? Most mornings though, I do take a Monster, sugar-free Monster. That's what gets me started in the morning. And
Yeah. That's just about the same amount of caffeine. Yeah.
yeah. It just doesn't
Glenn
beat me
is
up.
from across the pond, by the way. So tea for Glenn.
Sweet tea? Yes, Southern sweet tea, where you put a spoon in it, it just stands up. It is so thick. It's half sugar.
He's gonna fight you in the comments now.
If I'm running on sweet tea, Southern sweet tea,
Oh my
there ain't
God.
no chance he's gonna win.
Oh my goodness. Sweet tea is still new to me because I'm originally from Michigan and I relocated to the Texas area, south. But,
Michigan, yeah. Some Faygo Pop, go down to
yes,
Myers and
okay,
get
so
you.
Faygo
I'm from just outside Detroit. Yeah.
So am I, actually.
Hey, guys, yeah.
Yeah, I was born in
Canton,
Grosse
Michigan.
Pointe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Holy crap! I am so sorry. Part 3.
Oh, Pops.
Also from Michigan. We got Michiganders in the house.
I'm living here.
Yankees.
It's not
I know
funny.
you're the only one left though. We have all fled.
I didn't start here. This is where I ended up. Right?
I'm sorry. Why?
Sorry.
What
Grandkids.
purgatory brought you there?
Grandkids.
Ah,
And I'm not
Grandkids will do
stuck
it.
up there where you're at.
I mean, that's typically what happens. You know what I mean? Where it's like the kids move, they have a family, and then the adult parents come and help out with the grandkids. That's how it happens.
You gotta hang out with the grandkids, right? But I'm not stuck up there in the city or on the east side. I'm on the west side where it's nice and foresty and lakes.
Yeah,
and
that's
beautiful.
different if you're out by like the lakes.
Yeah.
Although I don't want to get your.
You have his trailer in the studio.
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah, it's there.
Isn't that the one I played?
I'm just saying. You have it at the end of the show. Yeah, at the end of the show, play it again.
Play it again. Okay.
So,
all right, get out of here. Boot.
Yeah, Pop.
This is the Karen show.
I was on his show just last week, and that guy's a hoot.
Pops.
Oh yeah, we had a great time.
He's a good soul. We'll leave it at that. Back to comics.
Yes.
So I want to go back. So which, because you have a couple different stories, don't you? You have Stained Glass, you have Skinwalker. Is there more?
Okay, and so Stained Glass is my baby.
Yeah.
Skinwalker is someone we talked about. He is one of the characters on the team that's a part of the Stained Glass comics.
Okay.
So the very first issue is more of like an issue 0. It's kind of the prologue to the rest of the series. We have to have issue 0 here because this whole thing is about spiritual warfare.
Yes.
It's not all about angels and demons, but it is and it isn't. It's just in the very beginning, and we had this conversation a little bit beforehand. Yeah, there's a war that we can't see that's happening all around us, and
So like real life.
real life,
Mhm.
and um, so what does that look like when that starts translating into a hero world? Um, so again, we have to have issue 0. Luke
Please tell me his
Skywalker.
name is not Luke.
No, no, it's Tyree. So and for Tyree Skinwalker, I reached out to some people I know in the Navajo Nation out in Arizona,
Hmm.
and I wanted to know. Tell me about this character. And she says, okay, well, so I was in line to be a medicine woman. My dad was a medicine man,
Mhm.
and we don't call them shamans anymore. They just call them medicine man. But we know the skinwalkers exist. They are real. And they said that, especially a couple hundred years ago when the US cavalry would go and ride it to a village, they'd send the skinwalkers from one village to the next. They would outrun the horses. And they would warn the next village of what was coming. And she told me that there is a price to pay. The Navajo, their belief system is in the holy ones. They're just because they're called holy ones, they're neither good or bad. They are. Um, but they give this person powers, but they have to sacrifice someone they love in order to receive this
Yeah.
power. So Tyree, he is disgruntled of how um, his elders of his tribe are handling politics with the U.S. He feels like they're giving up rights and freedoms, and that he could lead it better. He could do it better. He needed power. So he and some of his acolytes end up murdering people they love to receive the powers that they have. Um, so he is on this team of unique individuals. The team is called Coist. It's kind of like the coexist sticker you see in the back of cars, whatever coexist,
Yeah.
but it's the coalition of international spiritual talent. And so you have the novel Skinwalker, you have a Muslim jinn, the sand jinn, you have the Jewish golem, you have um, a New Age Unitarian. Her name is Angel. Um, you have you'll have the angel that is in this comic. His name is Chevy. That's kind of an ode to my dad working at GM for 36 years.
Yeah.
But
I was like, what is the meaning behind that? And you're like,
there
good.
is there's a
Hard.
great meaning. The name actually comes from the Hebrew word Sharev Ha'adan, which means the sword of the Lord. And so
Nice.
he is an archangel. Um,
Michael?
like Michael, like Gabriel. His name is Sharev
Crap.
Ha'adan. Um,
Amazing.
and
Ooh,
so
I get
Chev,
goosebumps hearing that.
what?
Yeah.
His name's Chevy. So, again, it's kind of an ode to my
Funny.
dad who, again, without General Motors, GM Michigan,
Mhm.
um, they really, it was a big part of my life.
Mine
Um,
too.
and then there is the main protagonist. He,
My
yes,
dad worked for GM too, and my grandpa. Yeah.
and nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of my family, and back in Tennessee, the Saturn Corporation. That's what
Mhm.
brought us to Tennessee back in 1988,
Oh my gosh.
a long time ago. So
Yeah.
then you've got
Like,
the main
that was also
protagonist
last year. Sorry.
last year,
Last year.
or
It
2
was
years
all
ago,
last year.
maybe 2 years ago.
Go ahead, Dan.
Um,
I'm sorry.
Joshua's the main character, the main protagonist. He is
Did you say
um,
Josh?
Joshua.
Okay.
He doesn't
I
have
know it. I know it. Okay.
Well, no, and it's probably not what you think.
Well,
Joshua
yeah.
is just he's very unassuming. He's a small kid, not kid. He's 18, but he's very frail, very small, very unassuming.
Mm-hmm.
He is the American Christian on the team. And
Okay.
so it is not. This is not a. I'm going to bash religions. I'm going to um, make people look stupid or no,
No.
this is a team brought together for a reason under their main leader, a guy named Dr. Darwin. He is like if you took
Darwin.
Elon Musk, Richard
All right.
Branson,
I'm
Bill Gates, roll them all into one. I got a team photo down a bit. It's my poster. Um, but Simon is is his real name. And Simon believes that humanity's next evolution is to merge with technology. And
oh my
so
God.
he is he is just like wrapped up with what is spirituality and humanity. So he's kind of surrounded himself. Um, that's my new poster, a bunch of angels.
Wow.
But just a little bit further down, you'll see my team.
Keep going. Keep going. This one?
There you go. There you go. So right there in the middle, that's Dr. Darwin with this girl Angel. The top
Okay.
right, there you have a skinwalker.
Skinwalker. Okay.
And then the Sanjin just underneath.
Sanjin. Yeah, I see him.
Yep, you see that little box, a little blue box right next to the angel's wings. That's kind of his lamp.
Ah,
And then further down the bottom, that's Golem.
there he is.
And the girl, which is my daughter's favorite, her name is Durga. She's my Hindu from
Mm-hmm.
Pondicherry, India. That
Okay.
little boy that's kind of hidden in there, that's Joshua, the main character, and just above him, that is the Archangel
That's Chevy.
Chevy.
He's
Yes.
giant.
Yes. I mean, he's an archangel. How small could he be?
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Like, I made him small.
How many angels can dance on the head of a pin?
Yeah.
All of them.
Not
Okay.
Chevy.
Not Chevy. Not Chevy. You'd break that pen. So
Funny.
yeah, that's the team. But again, without this first issue, the rest of this wouldn't make sense.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
so we've got some. That is a new poster. That is just within that one with the angels. Those are just some of the angels that Starcross has within our stories. Some of them
Oh,
are,
okay.
yeah. So not just in mine. Those are ones within different stories of Starcross. It's one of the reasons why Starcross and Stained Glass really meshed well. And then here's my covers. So I'm running a Kickstarter.
Right. I'm about to let me drop the link here for everybody. If anybody wants to follow along with the class, here's the link for you. This is where we're at right now, going through the campaign. I'm gonna go back to the top. We watched the video, which was technically it was the ad, but and we're gonna play it again. But just so everybody knows, this I have questions about this. First off, who did your video? Did you do it?
Nope, I don't do video stuff. I wish I could.
The music
Um,
is amazing.
that okay. So I've sent that is a generic song. I sent you another video that was separate.
Yeah, I have that. It wasn't playing for me. Let me see if I can try to
Oh
get it to
no.
go.
Okay.
Do 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 do. I tried watching it last night, and I was like, maybe it's the same one. It was not,
It
huh?
is. It is not. So,
Better? Is it better? Oh, the suspense. Scrolling. Let's see here.
I believe it's better. So, I partnered with one of my favorite metal bands. It's a band called War of Ages. And I reached out to them for permission and didn't get a response. So
I was like, I didn't think it was working because there was no images, but it is chock full of music.
Yes.
Is it just music?
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second, everybody. Let me switch screens here. I was like, maybe I'm missing something. And then I unmuted it.
Yes. So I reached out to the main guy
Yeah.
and no answer. Then I reached out to his brother and he's like, yeah, go ahead. You've got permission to use that. Oh, by the way, I'm not in the band anymore. Like,
Oh,
ooh.
maybe you should double check.
So then I reached out to their record label, Face Down Records. I think it's Face Down Records. And they were like, yes, you have permissions. I'm like,
Okay.
just tell me what songs. They're like, just anything off the new album. And so I have Dominus. And so I got all the permissions in there and
I
should be ready to
wanna
go.
check it. Can you guys hear it?
Can hear, can't see.
Yeah, there's nothing. This is what happens for me. There's nothing that video doesn't play, but the music plays.
Okay. Sounds amazing. Just use your imagination.
Yeah, I was like, that's all you need.
So,
lightsabers. Maybe it is Luke Skinwalker. Ah, that's awesome. All right, starting
yes.
again.
So the video, if you want to see the full video with that music, you can check out Stained Glass Comics Facebook page, in which I have that on there.
Okay.
But on the Kickstarter, and that's somebody that Joe had sent the video off. Joe Spicer had sent off to get that done. He just animated those pages, and so I love it. I sit there and I can watch that. If that was a TV show, a movie, I would just watch it over and over.
It's tempting, you know what I mean? Because we watch these and we're like, oh, I so want to see this as an animated series.
Oh yeah.
But then that costs money.
It's like, costs a little bit of money. Hey, Disney, if you're watching.
Yeah. I mean, wow. Merging with technology. I don't know, man. It's very spot on to where we are right now. You know what I mean? With the whole AI movement.
So
scary.
So as I write this, like some of the technologies that are currently happening as we speak are starting to merge with this. Again, I have had this story for several years, and I'm like, oh no, maybe Google's listening.
No, you're just a prophet. That happens. That happened with my story. I wrote it in 2018 and like stuff from my story is coming to life. And that's scary because I write apocalypse.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm sure Google does not listen to us. It does not
at
have
all. Nope.
Nope, it doesn't listen to us, and nope, it doesn't.
I'm not going to talk
No.
about macaroni and cheese, and then later today I get ads on Facebook for macaroni and cheese. You watch. We're going to call it macaroni and cheese, macaroni and cheese, macaroni and cheese. We'll see what happens.
You know I'm getting all those ads now too.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Dan's like,
Macaroni
well,
and
at least
cheese.
it's mac and cheese. I don't know. Could have said anything there.
Could have said anything, and we did mac and cheese. I love it.
Yeah.
So this is cover.
This Chevy has his wings cut off. What the heck?
Yeah. So this story, I'm gonna tell you the end of the story because it's all about.
No spoilers.
It's all about how you get from point A to point Z.
Oh, you're gonna do it?
I'm not gonna tell you how that happens.
Oh,
But you see that front page. That's the end. That's the end.
You did not. You
Sure.
put the ending on the cover.
That's it.
You are so not cool, man.
I know. So you see the stained glass window, and you see him. He's got his wings ripped off, and again, this is this epic battle for a city. And yeah, he is leading this army. And at the end, he comes face to face with Satan, and she says, hey, even there are stories about my end, but there's no story of yours. And so he says, regardless, that just because there's no story about me doesn't mean you're not going to lose today. And well, he's the one who ends up losing. And I've actually got a little bit further down. There's some black and white pages there. So we'll go down here. Here's some of the battles stuff. Okay, so on those middle pages there.
Where do you want to go?
So these black and white pages, can you make where it says stained glass?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the last 3 pages of the comic.
Dang, Dan, what are you doing? I give my readers the first 4 pages, and sometimes I can't even do that depending on what's in the story. You're like, here's the end.
Oh no, yeah, because it's how do we get here? I want you guys to.
You would totally get along with my friend Corissa Grant. She loves to spoil everything. Jeez.
And that's the thing is if the end of the story was the spoiler, then I didn't do my job. So all the colored artwork that I have, that was all done by Luke Stone.
Okay.
And his artist Patrick Gamma. All the coloring, I mean, beautiful work. I really want to see the use of color and light and darkness.
Yeah.
And so you have Chevy in this scene, and he is fighting something you haven't seen before. Which again, I won't. There's reasons why there's not words on the page. But so he's fighting this thing. It's kind of the mini boss right before the end.
Gotcha.
So he's going. You know what? There's different groups out there that do like who would win in a fight. Well, I mean, you have an archangel who is known as the sword of God, and speed. When he punches, it's at the speed of light. When he hits something, he's using that kind of strength. He's near invincible, because as you see, he does get his wings ripped off. But again, it's pretty incredible just how powerful he is and how powerful the things he goes up against.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's that powerful, but he just put a crack in that. It didn't.
Yeah, he ends up destroying the thing, but again, I won't give too much of that story away.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. And but yeah, and this is just there's an idea that angels all have wings, And typically, that's how you see them. In fact, most angels you see are female, right? With these
Yeah, male and
wings or
female.
wings.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law, for years, she collected angels, and
Oh,
they're
the
all over her living
figurines.
room. The
Yeah, they're
figurines,
always beautiful women with
beautiful
wings.
women
Absolutely.
with wings, and that's there's not a lot of mention, and I can't really find any mention of female angels with wings or angels
No,
that look like how we picture them. I really want to try to figure out how to put a little baby, a little naked baby with wings in there,
cherubs.
but yeah,
Eh,
that's
Cherubim.
right.
I would love to. Okay? Since we're talking about angels, I don't want to sidetrack us, but what do you think about like the biblical? I don't know if these are true, where they talk about how like some of them are really weird shapes and they have like 800 eyes, and um, I mean, I can understand why they might be not human formed as well, because in the Bible it says when they appear to people, they always say, "Do not be afraid." Like it would explode your brain if you just saw this circle with covered in 800 eyes and wings show up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it has the three pairs of wings, one that covers
Yeah,
the face, one they fly
yeah.
with, one that covers the legs, covered in eyeballs, or the living creatures, which aren't even called angels. The living creatures
Mm.
that have a face of man, the face of a bull, the face of an eagle, that ride on this wheel within a wheel. Their wings touch. It's yeah.
Yeah.
When they show up, they're always like, "Hey, don't be scared."
Don't be afraid. Do not be
Like,
afraid, but it's like,
like,
what is that?
am I dead now? Are you gonna
Yeah.
kill me? And
Uh,
and,
they
and you
know.
know, and I think they should have, kind of that understanding of these things are massive and awesome and powerful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it should kind of command that idea of, wow, this is kind of a scary thing. So yeah, I believe that. The cherubim, the seraphim, the living creatures, there's the angelic hosts,
Yeah.
there's all kind of things, and
Different.
you know
Yeah.
some people get like way into the weeds on that, and some people, they just say, okay, there's angels and demons, okay.
So then
um
how did you interpret it into your story? Do you have different classes of angels, or we just keep it simple like there's angels and there's demons and this is how it plays out in our
so
story?
so no, I'm not going to just simplify it. Again, you've got the cherubim, you have your archangels, you have your seraphim, you have your just regular angels, and even the understanding of demons. Demons are fallen angels. At one point, they were
Yeah.
angels. I'm not sitting there and saying like, okay, there's a demon of alcoholism or a demon of, I don't know, whatever. No, they're all fallen angels. Um, so, and I'm sure that there are rankings and hierarchies
Mhm.
uh, with the angelic just as well as there is with the demonic.
Yes.
Um, but I'm also not one of those guys who's out there and be like, there's a demon under that tree, and Pokemon are the devil, and uh,
Pokemon?
Pokemon,
Mm,
those
yeah,
pocket monsters.
gotta catch 'em all. Please don't catch them all.
No,
Not
I'm
the
trying
demons.
to. I'm trying
Alright.
to. Yeah, my Pokemon Go. I'm trying to catch them all. Okay, so in in the video, there's two comics. The first one, the Angels and Demons, that is the first issue. This one, as
I
you
think hold on. I lost you there for a second. Go back.
okay.
In the
So
comic.
so in the video that we had, there was
Yeah.
two comics. The first one was with the Angels and Demons. That's issue 1. The second one that you have on the screen, this is issue 2. This is where you meet
Oh,
the Koepp team, and they are introduced to the main protagonist, Joshua.
I like what you
And
did with his jacket and his shirt, that it makes a cross.
Oh, you saw that.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. I just wanted to be I don't know, I guess subliminal in some way.
Yeah.
So, he's walking out, there's a giant battle, and I'm not telling you the end of this one. Um uh
Thank you.
they other than there's a giant battle that happens, and they the team Koepp is pursuing cybernetic ninjas who stole some technology. The chopper was hit with a lightning bolt during a thunderstorm, crashes through this
Mm.
church or this giant battle, and out walks this boy. One of the characters on the team, Durga, shot through the throat. And you see there on the bottom,
Yeah.
she's got a giant hole right there, and she's just bleeding out. And Joshua walks over, he puts his hand on her, and just like that, she's back. The hole's gone. She's alive. And then he goes and
And
does
then?
some. Then he does some pretty miraculous things. You scroll down next frame a little bit further.
A little bit
Okay, it's
further. I
not
was
there.
like, tell me where to
Okay,
go. This one?
no, it's
Where?
it's
Which
it's
one?
it's not on that one. I think it's on some of the artwork I had sent over. But so he ends up doing a bunch of things, fighting a bunch of cybernetic ninjas, taking a nuclear blast to the face, and somehow becomes part of this team. And so, when you have a bunch of religious zealots all put on the same team in tight quarters, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like in any team, really, people don't get along. But
Right.
it's so much deeper when it's based in religion. That's the way it goes. And things for the team start changing once this kid comes on the team. So, hey, there's my beautiful
I was
fam
gonna say,
there.
I'm going too far. Here's your fam.
There's my family. And
Aw.
there's Kenny Rogers. There's my angel, Kenny Rogers.
Who said that to you? That's funny.
Oh, when Luke sent that to me and he had it colored, I'm like, dude, I can't
You
stop seeing
Rogers?
Kenny Rogers right there.
Oh my goodness. That's funny. I was like, I didn't
Right?
see it until you said it. And then I was like, oh, 100%. That's Kenny Rogers.
That's all you can see now. I
Yup.
see it.
His name is Chevy
So,
Ken. Ken
Chevy.
Chevy? Ken Chevy. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
happen.
beautiful.
It'll happen.
Beautiful art, beautiful family. And I love chibi stickers. I was just telling my artist Gilbert, I was like, I need some chibi stickers. Can you do that? He's like, I'm on it. So first he's got to finish the book and then he can do some chibi stickers.
My daughter, actually, Joe Spicer, drew that chibi for me.
Oh,
He's
did
like,
he?
I got a new alternative cover for you, and I'm like, really? And I'm like, what's a chibi? And my daughter's like, oh, I love chibis, Dad.
Yeah.
You know what chibis are? I'm like, I don't get it. And she's like, Daddy, I can draw these for you. And I was like, really? You can do this? Oh yeah, watch. And I'm like, I can't believe you're doing this. And it to me, it was like you're taking such a serious character. Yeah,
Right.
team infighting, that's not a real thing.
Oh my gosh.
So after
Gosh,
I
I
found out
like
what they
music. I'm
were,
sorry. Someone was just commenting a lot, and I was looking at your Kickstarter, so I couldn't see it. But let's see. You don't like my music? You should turn a Ministry or Motorhead. He says we need other homeless superheroes. It writes itself. We don't have any homeless superheroes. I don't know. Make us accept cookies. Cookie is the really. Please accept our invasive spyware trackers. Yeah, pretty
please
much. That's
do
what
it.
Cookie does, right?
Yes, who doesn't love a cookie?
Oh my gosh. Isn't it funny in the Matrix When Keanu is in the Oracle's kitchen, she was like, "Have a cookie," before she starts to talk to him.
Right? It's like, and I didn't even think about that until years later.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
was like, that's a funny little joke they played on us because we didn't know. Yeah, I agree. Nurses are angels without wings. Biblical story of angels and Satan comes from Milton's Paradise Lost. Not familiar, but
I think that's what
heard that.
he's saying is like the idea of like the winged angels and the
Gotcha.
winged demons and the red Satan with horns and tail,
Mm.
that kind of stuff.
Satan was God's scorned lover. That's interesting. In Islam, Satan was. Oh, we already said that. Sorry. Satan remembers God by the last words he speaks to him. Go to hell. Yeah. Well, God says it. You don't have a choice. Fire stealing myth. I don't know about the fire stealing myth. What's that one? In almost every theology, some hero steals fire from the gods. I think in Greek mythology, I'm familiar with that one, but I'm not familiar with most other ones. And team infighting, of course. Oh, Prometheus. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now we are
what
caught up.
is-
Sorry about that,
yeah,
chat. Apologies.
Thanks, chat. So back to the cheaties. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know. My daughter's like, I'll draw you. I don't know. Can you see this?
Anyway, put it up. Oh my gosh. That's
So
amazing.
she did some of these cheaties. There's Golem, there's Dr. Darwin, there's Angel, there's Durga, and there's Sanjin.
Yeah.
So yeah, she did an awesome job. That's my 14-year-old daughter, Chloe, and I need her as
Amazing,
an
Chloe.
artist. I
You
could
know what
pay
I
her a lot
think?
less.
I think you need a stretch goal for when you surpass your goal, and it should be a sticker pack of Chloe's chibis.
Oh yes.
I think your readers would really enjoy that. And I think your daughter would absolutely explode
Oh
that
yes.
her stickers are going out to the world. That would be super cool. I don't know,
I
just an
know
idea.
she would.
Huh?
I
What
said
did you
I know she would. I know she would
Yeah,
explode.
absolutely.
She is one of the most creative people I've ever met, and you should try her desserts. It's
Oh,
unbelievable.
and she cooks. Girl after my own heart. Love to cook. What does she normally make?
Let's see. Most recently, it was Cocoa Krispies Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah. I'm only laughing because I just did a marketplace, like a what do you call it? Like a farmer's market. And I bake and I take bread and stuff, but I also make Rice Krispie treats. I love
Cocoa
Rice Krispie
Krispies.
treats. It's so good.
And
Chocolate.
her cookies, I mean, they are something out of Martha
Yeah.
Stewart magazine. I don't know even know. They're just her brownies are just delicious. Just rich.
Awesome.
Just I don't know. Maybe the amount of butter she used. I don't know. Okay,
You know
so
what's funny? That's a lot of it is like it tastes good because we bake it like we hate you. No, I'm just kidding. We
oh
put stuff
yeah,
in it that's really not that healthy for you to eat, but yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's go
so
shopping, shall we?
let's go buy some stuff.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah,
take a look. All right.
this is
Tell
good
me what you
stuff.
got here.
So
Okay.
the main cover there, that is my very first thing. That is done by FC Kabul Fabul and Federico. They are the ones who did that one. Again, it's the stained glass, and the first that next page, the version cover. That's what that stained glass looked like before it was broken. Um, it's also as you open it, the cover it to look like that.
Hmm.
Um, and it was difficult trying to find artists who could try to make it look stained glass.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a medium that a lot of artists draw in.
Right.
So, so then again, first you have the main cover, then you have the version cover there where it's unbroken. Chrome cover, that's going to be a holofoil.
Nice.
So,
We like shiny things. It lets our
who doesn't
inner
like shiny
raccoon.
things?
It's my inner raccoon demands the shiny things.
Yes. And then we have our chibi cover. So If you are just wanting to read this and just pull it up from your computer because you don't like paper, you want to save trees, we have our digital angels here, $5 investment, and
Yeah.
it's going to be on the Starcross page, Starcross Comics page. So again, to invest, there you have a $5 investment.
Yeah.
Next is
And
going to
I
be
I
the
I love PDF versions. One, we get to include international backers
yep,
because a lot of
yep.
times shipping outside of the country is just not cost effective. But
Uh,
for those of you that are international, this is your way to get in on the story. Absolutely. And then print
yes, and
copy.
then we have again our physical plane. That is just that main cover there. Which again for that $10, you can either do the physical plain main cover or you can do the chibi cover. The
Really?
Divine Comedy cover is just $10. So you have your choice.
Oh, that's
Yes,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
So
Usually you don't get a choice. That's cool. All right.
no.
Yeah.
We
Look.
have, however, I can get that out. Divine Comedy. That's the chibi. And
Well,
it's so funny is they got this such a serious character. It's such a heartbreaking time, and he looks like a little crybaby.
yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, "You guys, this is kind of funny." It's like a kid who fell off his bike. He's crying because he
Like,
scraped his
dang
knee.
it! I dropped my ice cream.
Yeah, my balloon flew away.
My
Nope.
my my wings were ripped off, and I'm forced to walk unglorified for the rest of the time.
Gosh. I also want to
Oh,
point out to everybody that these two printed copies here both come with digital. So that's ideal for me. I like both mediums because I will binge read the digital first because usually I get that, I can download it at any time before I get the stuff in the mail. And so I read it, I learn all the twists, I find out all the character development, and then when the book comes, I sit down and I take my time. I smell the pages, I listen, like it's a whole sensory experience except for taste. Don't eat the books, people, right?
yeah, don't
But you can
don't
feel the
don't.
book, you can hear the pages turn, you can smell the book, and then that's when I look for, like, the Easter eggs and really absorb the art. But my first read through, I usually do digital just so I can, like, give me the meat and potatoes. I wanna know what happens next. So,
Yeah, but
these are
are
great.
yours scratch and sniff like mine?
Are they scratch and sniff? Do they smell like comics? Might smell like
Yeah, they
comics.
smell just like comics. Yeah,
Yeah, mine do
yeah,
too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Could you imagine if you actually did a scratch and sniff comic? Dave,
Ooh, yes.
Dan, we need to do this. Dan, there needs to be a scratch and sniff panel built into your comics. We'll have to figure that out, Dan.
There you go. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Okay,
Someone
so
else, someone else had already suggested I do a pop-up book. Was that was Bruce on Bierman. Was it Bruce? No, it was Rex. Rex the other day said I should do a pop-up book. That would be really cool for you too. Can you imagine all your characters are just like you open the book and they just like expand into
like
existence?
just pop out and they're just like sword in
Yeah.
your face.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, you have
I can
some
see it.
really dramatic characters. I think you could pull off a pop-up book for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten birthday cards that have done that. Why can't I do it in a comic book? First page, just
See?
open it up.
I don't know
Oh
if it could
wait,
be comic book size. We'll have to look into that. I don't know if printing it would be
hey,
is that.
and you know what? Um, Google just heard all of this. It's already happening.
Dang it.
You're too late, Laura. You're too late.
This is what happens when technology merges with mankind. It takes over.
Jeez.
All right. So Virgin cover $15. That is
Yes.
very, very good deal, people. That's a beautiful cover. And I love how it's the moment right before he bites the apple.
Yes, and then so in this you've got of course Adam, Eve, you got the serpent there as a question mark.
Mm.
We're really trying to say this is kind of the heart of what's gonna end up happening. But you
You
got
know,
horses in there, right?
Lou, I was thinking about doing some Path of the Pale Rider air fresheners to help with the stench. I was thinking about that already. So we might have our own branded air fresheners to help with the undead. I'm just saying.
Smells like the West.
Smells like
Um,
not rotting flesh. That's our goal.
right, right.
All right, hollow foil cover, $20.
$20. And then you've got your hollow foil there. I mean, if you're gonna have the decaying air freshener, why does this smell like old bologna?
Why does it smell like rotting bears? Is that a thing?
Hey, and
Old
I can use the
bologna.
same for Skinwalker. You can use it for Big James.
There you go. See, we can buy in bulk, Dan, and share.
There you go. Sounds like a plan. But if you're gonna have something beautiful like a stained glass window,
Yeah.
why not have the hollow foil chrome cover? I mean,
I
it's
mean,
supposed to look gorgeous.
yeah. I just think you could raise the price on that. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, guy, that's one of those things. I reached out to Joe, and Joe said, "Dan, here's the best price points for what we have." And I'm like, Joe, I trust you on this. So if
Yeah.
it fails, it's your fault, Joe.
Shh, we did not invoke that. No, Joe, we love you. Sorry.
Joe, we love you. You're the best.
We're teasing.
Um,
I think
and
people
then
would pay more for that. I honestly do because it's gorgeous. And again, it's me and shiny things. Like I would pay more for that. Definitely. But
well,
what do we got? Ooh.
the everything bundle, and this is one I did. I was like, Joe, $47 to get the digital, all four covers, stickers, poster, all this. Are you kidding me?
Oh, $47?
$47, and that's. I'm like, and I think with shipping, it comes out to be like $54.
Oh my God.
But
Just back it already.
I mean, you guys should be running to that one. That's just amazing. $47.
that's
People.
he's like, the shipping is already there. I mean, they're just paying for these things, so the shipping is already there. You're not having to pay shipping for each one.
Yeah.
Um, that is excellent. But this next one, this is
Oh.
the one.
Oh.
And I've already got two people, and I need him to up that because I can find places to put you in this comic. Who doesn't want to be immortalized
I
in a
do.
comic book?
I do. I want to be immortalized. Although not in my own comic. I don't know. Might be
Right?
risky.
There's something about like being a part of another universe that he's like, I'm in
Yeah.
that.
You can
And
like collect your own multiverse.
right, it's like, hey, I'm in this universe and I'm in this universe, and
Yeah.
ooh,
And I
um,
died in most of them.
and I'm hiding. No, but in this one, I'm not gonna hide a person in there. Like in the bottom of the panel, it's gonna say who it was that donated, and it's gonna actually look like them. I'm gonna ask that they provide,
Yeah.
front and two portraits, and then I'm gonna be able to go and actually put them in different places. There are even though there's a lot of angels and demons, and there's a lot of people in this comic book as well. And so with that, of course, you're going to be drawn in. You're going to get the digital. You're going to get the main cover comic as well. So
Nice.
so yeah,
That's
this one is a really cool deal.
that's a good deal, everybody. It really is. Could be
So
immortalized forever in a comic book. That
and
makes
then on top of that, we've got posters. So if you go to the middle, and these are the add-ons. So I've got
ah,
the angelic add-on poster, and so you've got Chevy there in the middle
yep.
with his sword ablaze, as
Wow.
well as like there's a living creature right there at the blue, and he's got the face of a lion, a human, and a bird.
He's really
Uh,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, and all the eyes all over, and
Yeah.
um, just different depictions of angels throughout Starcross. So you've got this poster, and the next one down, the Coest poster. That is
Mhm.
that is going to be our team poster.
Mhm.
So again, they're not introduced till issue 2, but that is Gilbert Monsanto's work, and he is, oh,
Yeah.
uh,
It looks
I love
amazing.
Gilbert. Yes.
That
Um,
Skinwalker looks just incredible. He's nice.
oh, he when I told Gilbert to draw him, I said I want it to look like a werewolf and a zombie, a zombified werewolf. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And that is one of his forms. He can change to different forms depending on what headpiece he's wearing. Um, which
Yeah,
is
I have
all
questions. Now, he can switch out his headpieces. Does he keep them somewhere safe?
yes. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, he just but he's limited to what he brings with him on missions. Um,
Mm.
so yes, and every one of the characters has a bit of technology that amplifies their powers that, of course, Dr. Darwin has given them. So um, his little bit of technology allows him to stay in his form longer, bigger, stronger, and uglier. Sanjin, it's so he can control his sand. Think of like Sandman with
Sandman?
military training.
Yeah.
Um, he was he was he was a commander in the Iraqi special forces back during Desert Storm. He discovered that the weapon of mass destruction was actually in a research facility under his hometown where his family was. And so, as he went to deactivate it, it was detonated, turning the lab,
Oh,
the
no.
city, everything into a sea of sand. And for
No.
years, he roamed the desert as just a malevolent entity, killing everything he can until Dr. Darwin found him, gave him this technology where he can form himself into to whatever, but especially as the Sanjin.
Yeah. So he can at
Um,
least look human again. I think, a lot of I don't know. I see this in my own characters where it's like the feeling of being human or having memories of being normal and human means so much to these characters that when you're just wind and sand and basically a poltergeist, just to be able to turn back into a human form again would have, a lot of meaning behind it. But could certainly see why he would give his loyalty to a Dr. Darwin who would give him the capability of doing that.
yes.
Am I
And
close?
yeah, yeah. That's why all of these are so loyal. The girl
Mm,
in the middle, Angel, her name is
yeah,
Angel. Those wings are solid, hard light, as well as the halo. It's actually a communications device. But
interesting.
she basically helped Darwin make the choices. Simon, his name is Simon Reynolds, to make the choices to become who he is today and a leader in technology. She's been given a special ear to what to do as a medium. Um, and so she's really been his counselor, his lover, confidant. She's the number 2 on the team. Um, Below Golem.
Wait,
Um,
before you move on, I'm looking at this picture and she has this blue kind of aura to her, and then Darwin has this blue kind of electrical arcs. Is that her power bleeding into him or he bleeds into her, or are they two separate things? They just happen to be the same color? Like, are they just connected somehow? Like, give me some more
so
information.
that's actually Dr. Darwin's biotech. So
Okay.
the blue is coming from reflecting of the halo. Is that biotech? Her wings again is that biotech hard light. The box for Sanjin is that
Yeah.
blue
Yeah, okay.
biotech. It kind of runs throughout. Um,
Gotcha.
the girl to the left, Durga, she was born in India to the lowest class, the untouchable class, but
Hmm.
she was born with an extra set of arms
Arms, yeah.
and there is a medical condition which the spinal cord doesn't connect at the bottom and it ends up growing out. And it looks like a tail. And so
Oh,
um, in India, there is a belief that if you're born with an extra pinky or an extra growth or whatever, you've been touched by the divine. Well,
interesting.
there is a goddess within the Hindu belief named Durga with 4 arms, um, or 10 arms, but it fights demons riding on a tiger. So they
Cool.
believe that she is the
I want to ride a
incarnate,
tiger.
right?
Fight demons.
Uh, she is the incarnate of Durga, and she was sold by her parents, and to really cover the medical bills when she was born. She was given the best education. She was given a temple. The people paid tribute, but her mom died shortly after birth. Her dad, they don't have loans like we have in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a bricklaying or brickmaking factory where basically he was sold into slavery. He sold himself into
Yeah.
slavery, and
Terrible.
he ended up passing away. Well, she finds out about it and she wants to use her stature, her influence to change this. And they basically say, hey, you're just a figurehead.
Mm.
And so she uses her abilities, her wealth and stuff. She comes across Dr. Darwin, who his technology gives her extra arms, actual strength,
Nice.
um, gives her an actual tail, and she becomes basically the incarnate of Durga. She just wants to be better for people. And then you've got your golem, which is your little
Yeah.
Jewish guy in the bottom. And the idea of the golem, it was created by Jewish mysticism, which is really separate from Judaism altogether, in
Right.
which um, basically God breathed into clay to create a monster to defend the Jewish people. And it was where we understand robots, is where this golem
Interesting.
came from. And
That's an
so,
interesting interpretation. Yeah, I like it.
well, that's the story of the golem.
Yeah.
Um, where I have changed it is within Judaism. Most of the classes, like the priestly class, is passed on hereditary, and so
Okay.
the same with the golem. But instead of going to a people group, it just went to the next firstborn, and in which they would become golems, and defend Jewish people. It had been lost for so many years, and now
Mm.
Israel's guys we see in today's news has got this huge army. They defend themselves, and so the idea of the golem was really more of a figurehead, of just a position, and it wasn't really used for however many decades. But but um, this guy said, "Hey, I want to do something with this. I think the idea of a golem can help people in this world." And so Dr. Darwin found him out, offered him an opportunity to use what he has to actually do good
Yeah.
for humanity. And so he becomes part of this team.
Yeah.
The
Nice.
technology that he's been given changes him from being the giant lumbering beast of clay to a very consolidated being of carbonite.
Yeah.
Um,
Tough material.
Tough, but he's the jokester of the team. He's the
Really?
funny guy. Yep, he's the teenager who just, or a young guy who just
That
awkward
cracked
and
me up.
funny
I
and
didn't I would have never pictured.
annoying.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Oh.
and people, a lot of the team are just kind of annoyed by him. But he's a lot of fun. He is feisty. Um, yeah, it's gonna be fun how he plays his part. And then of course you got your angel, and Bard talked about Chevy, and we talked a little bit about the boy. Um, the reason it's called stained glass
Yeah.
is because the Joshua, he gets kind of a vision of what is going to happen. But to him,
Okay.
it's almost like looking through stained glass. He can't see it perfectly, but it's his responsibility to just do it. However, he sees it, whether it's right or wrong. He's supposed to just
Mhm.
do what he sees. And so as he sees this, he's walking this out. He's doing some pretty epic things, as you saw in that one. He brought that one girl back from the dead.
Yeah.
In the video, you see him fighting these cybernetic ninjas.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's got some pretty cool stuff. But in and of itself, he's just kind of a skinny, small, unassuming person.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to remind everybody that as an indie creator, whoops, I was trying to something's gone wrong. I'm
It
trying
broke.
to there we
Sorry.
go.
Thank you.
I was like, of course it would crash on a live stream. But anyway, what I'm trying to remind people of is that the most important time for indie creators is when we run uh, crowdfunding campaigns. These campaigns are what help us continue to make good stuff that you are not going to see anywhere else. These stories are passion projects. Get out of here. These stories are passion projects to us. Like Dan said, we feel compelled to get them out because they haunt us in our dreams. So
Yeah.
I just want to, say thank you for watching the show. Thank you for Dan coming on today. We're not ending. I'm just making sure everybody knows, like, please go back this project. Help Dan bring this to life. That's what I love so much about these campaigns is that not only are you investing in Dan and you're backing this, but you also get a copy of the comic. So you get to read it and help in the creation of this. So these are super important. Make sure you go back. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, that's a lot to say. Hey, and again, yeah, this comic I have got. It's a large comic. It's 27 pages.
Yeah,
I have currently
27.
27 pages.
You have an
Three
ad page in
pages.
there?
No,
How are you doing 20? It's supposed to be 28 pages.
it is technically 28 because the
Okay, I
inside
was
of the
like, you're
cover,
holding
but
out on us.
mm, but it's so of this, I've got 4 pages that are completely sketched, inked, and colored.
Yeah.
I've got another 3 that have been sketched and inked that I'm waiting on coloring. It's completed. I have got the first 4 issues completely written, completely paneled, just need to
Wow.
be
Yeah.
completed.
We just need the funds
Um,
to pay an artist to bring this to life. That's what it is. How
I mean,
many
I
issues?
know
Go ahead, Dan.
that it's going to be 13 issues. Uh,
Yes.
it's going to be 13 issues. There's also some spin-offs,
Yep.
and um, I am probably also going to create a comic for each of their specific storylines. So
Mhm.
that's going to be an additional 7 comics. That would be 20
Oh my gosh.
total.
You need to get
So
to work.
let's. Oh, come on, come on, guys!
Yeah.
I need,
Yeah.
I need, I need.
Yeah.
But one thing that really has influenced me more probably than anything else is growing up in the 80s. When you watched GI Joe, see my
Mhm.
GI Joe lunchbox.
Yeah, I do.
There it is.
There it is.
Um, what I loved about GI Joe is each character, whether it's Snake Eyes or Duke, Lady J, Scarlet, Destro, Cobra Commander, all these guys, they were so unique. They could have their own stories
Mhm.
apart from GI Joe, and it was them coming together and being so deep that that made the story come alive and made stuff really just be so memorable. Um, and I really haven't seen a lot of other storylines do that. I mean, you get a lot of like go back to Pokemon. You know, they make it big because there's just so many
Mhm.
Pokemon. You know, and you got
Yeah.
to get the newest whatever, and they kind of feed off that.
I
But
mean, like Ash has a goal and he's moving along his. I only know this because I got kids, right? We both got kids, and my kids love watching the Pokemon. They go in phases. Right now, they're watching One Piece. God help us all. Um. So, but yeah, but Ash has a goal, and like you're right. It's like there's so many Pokemon that it makes his journey interesting because even though he has this one goal, there's all these different characters that can come in and spice up the story. Um, so yeah, I really feel like your group, you could have all of them together. We could have issues where it's just two of them together or just one. And I like
mm,
the idea of reading a kind of like a short, maybe 8 pages that just develops one of them. And so maybe we get a little more backstory and we understand, why that snarky comment came out in issue 2. You know what I mean? So just to help develop the characters and then bring them back together and let them bounce ideas off of each other. I like that.
well, if you like that, then you should check out Starcross Comics. We have a few things just like that in which we're going to give you some shorts. Like one of my fan
Ooh.
favorites so far is I have a character named the Crusader, who was the previous the previous Christian on the team.
Yeah,
But he is the stereotypical MAGA type guns, God, and glory, and um,
that's not
yeah,
always
but
a
with
bad thing.
superpowers, right? Not always a bad thing. Definitely not always a bad thing, but it is when that individual puts more on glory and guns than he does on God, and so
Mm,
um, it's a we have a comic coming out under Starcross, which is kind of like a little one shot. There'll be 4 pages designated to the Crusader,
that's cool.
um, and um, yeah, just all my characters are going to have depth. I am going to go ahead and again um, put out. So I'm getting back to my pages.
'Cause,
Um,
like, are you multitasking?
shh.
I can always tell when my husband's multitasking. I was like, you are not a woman. We are the best at multitasking. That is the truth.
Yeah,
Uh,
not the best at it, but
don't come for me, people. But it's the truth.
so
It's funny though
so
that you mentioned that because I think Marvel Marvel does that really well where it's like, "Hey, we have our main issue. Here's our side character." You know what I mean? And if people are give positive response to that side character, then that character becomes their own. You know what I mean? Has their own series
yeah.
or their own and they get developed or maybe become part of the team. So I like when people do that. And it also gives you market research because if you introduce a character and people are like, meh, it's like, okay, we won't develop a series on that one. We're gonna do this one. You know what I mean?
Well, you should check out a few Star. He's actually already in a couple Starcross comics.
I love Star-Crossed
Again, people just really like the Crusader. Um, he he becomes a bad guy, or maybe he always was a bad guy, but he has his redeeming path, and um, I won't get into that too much. I won't spoil that one.
No spoiler.
Um, no spoilers, but again, people really like this character. I mean, he imagine like the oh yeah, there we go. So there's a lot of Alpharetta in
Ooh,
there, treating injustice, giant world's brand new biblical
biblical
proportions.
proportions,
Biblical
yep,
proportions 3 is going to have um,
gradient justice.
my characters. Um, yeah,
Cool.
there's Alphared. How awesome
Yeah,
is Alphared? He's
he's
one of my
cool
favorite
looking.
artists. And not only does he write, but he draws that. James is like
Men,
the
yeah.
goat. A writer
Those are
and
interesting.
an artist is just there's Tin Soldier. Nick does an incredible
I'm
job.
s I'm so jealous of the people that are just self-sufficient. Well, yes and no, because 1, they have to do it all themselves, so there's more time involved, you know what I mean? because it's like, if you want something done, you have to do it your dang self. So the timeline, I think, could be a little longer or not, because again, it's just you. So if you can make the time and you can just get it done, then guess what? You're not waiting on so-and-so to finish up 2 more books before you get in the queue. You know what I mean? So there's a double-edged sword to all of it, but it's so important to find the team that works for you. But people that can do everything themselves, like, I'm so jealous. I want to draw. I want to draw my own comic. It would be
it would
terrible.
save me so much money if I could
Yeah,
just
that's the
draw my
thing,
own
right?
comic.
I know you can
Oh,
always tell a Kickstarter that is running to fund artists and ones where like the artist is running the Kickstarter because their goal is like $1,000. They're covering print charges. They've already, they're not charging themselves a page rate. So it's like people like us were like, please help us. We're trying to pay people.
please, please, my normal job is
Nah,
not covering my hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
not a
have an
hobby. This is
expensive hobby. That's what
right.
happens. Physical comics.
So
Yeah, man, this website's not. Wow, look at that.
yeah, there's
Woo!
like Black Blossom. Look at that. I mean,
Ooh, this
she's an
one.
incredible. Yeah, and then we got some funny ones like Corn Dog there. And then like Pillow Man and Blanket Boy is another one. That one's a cool
What?
story. Is a father is just telling his son bedtime stories and came out where he could just make a comic out of it. He's like, Daddy, can you make a comic? Yes. Yes, I can. So there's Pillman, Blanket Boy. Um, yep. These are Red Talon. He's one of our classics. Tin Soldier. These guys are
Load
just
more.
really
Oh my
iconic.
gosh. Still going. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, again,
There's a
and
ton of
so
books
that
here, man.
the Starcross United, that is going to be where you see Chevy. I'm sorry, not Chevy. You're going to see the Crusader. He
He's in
is.
which one?
It's going to be Starcross United. The bottom, the, the one on the bottom right. There's actually a new cover made. So Crusaders in that one. So yeah,
Oh,
if you
just
guys
okay.
haven't checked out Starcross, so every comic universe kind of has its origin of power. At DC, it's really things from the outside, generally helping out humanity. Where Marvel is generally within humanity. The Eternals, they and the Deviants, they left their seed on Earth, and then the mutants started. Well, with Starcross, the origin of power, there is a verse from the Bible in Genesis that talks about the sons of man thought the sons of God thought the daughters of men were beautiful, and they came down and made babies. And these babies were called the Nephilim,
The Nephilim. Yay. I love
these
stories.
giants in the land. They were
Yeah.
heroes, and so that is not exactly as it reads, but
Mm-hmm.
that's how some people interpret it, that these Nephilim were crossbreeds,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the understanding of
Gotcha.
Star-Crossed comics. And
Ha.
the gene of the Nephilim, as it's been passed down, gives people powers in different ways. And so that is a lot of how our heroes get their powers. Now, some of these characters are in the past. Some of these comics are in the past. Some of them are in the future. Some are in different universes altogether. Biblical proportions and the Starcross United, that we find ways to collab our guys that
Yeah.
they're all sharing the same time, the same space. So
That makes
yes.
sense. It makes sense for those to kind of collaborate. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe not so much with Pillow Man, but Pillow Man could be telling the story of one of, you know what I mean? Like he'd be like, "Okay, son, tell him
So
the story."
Pillowman is a superhero, and
He's not?
Blanket Boy is like his Robin. It's his ward, his sidekick. Both of them with their own set of powers and stuff. Even Corn Dog. It's got his own power set.
That's super funny. I'm
Hilarious.
sorry. Look.
Hilarious.
It reminds me of Dogman.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind
Yeah.
of the same art.
Yeah.
I see that.
Captain Underpants too, obviously, because Corn Dog here in this one is wearing his undies on the outside. the lettering too. It's fun.
Yes. Yes. And I think my kids would probably really like Corn
Corn
Dog.
Dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a ton of titles out there. You can read a lot of them right there on our site, Starcross.
Let me drop the link there. People can go check that out as well. Here's Starcross Comics, everybody. Spelled just the same as you would think it would be. Here you go. StarcrossComics.com. That's an amazing
Beautiful.
collection. That would be fun to just go wander around here. Man. And it's like, I'm always torn because I want to read all the things. And I'm like, send me the things for free. But I also want to support everybody for their work, man. So it's just hard. It's like I want to read all the things, but I also want to make sure everybody gets paid for their time and the effort and everything they've put into these. It's
Well, and
incredible.
and even all of us, yeah, you can read the digital, but
Yeah.
there's just something about having a paper copy in your hand,
Mhm.
or a paper copy that you store away in storage that no one touches, and it's sealed and
Beloved. It's beloved.
it's beloved. It's there in case one day that's ever, made a lot of money
Turned
and
into a live action movie.
and you say, oh, look it, I have it. I haven't read it. It's here.
Yeah.
It's still, oh, I got a bunch. I got a bunch just sitting there. I try to get 2 copies. It's like
Yeah.
it's like with my hot sauces.
We haven't talked
Yeah,
about hot sauce yet. Ooh.
we haven't. And I'll have my display bottle that I'll keep with my collection, and then I have the one that I actually have to try, that I have to
Yeah.
taste.
I have a Danny Trejo bottle that my husband bought me for Christmas. It's signed by Danny Trejo hot sauce. And again, it stays in the box. We don't open it. Beloved.
I
Shelf candy.
I love hot sauces. Love, love, love. I bring them to work, and at work I've got about 30. I don't know, at our Walmarts, they got these little bottles. They're like this big, and they were selling them for like a quarter. And so I grabbed as many as I could, like as many as I could. I just bring them to work just so that all the guys can taste them. And so it's kind of my thing. I like hot sauces. Well, we go down. We're not too far from Branson, and at Branson,
Okay.
the Branson Landing is a beautiful place right beside the river, and you can go shopping and stuff. And they've got their Pepper Palace, and I'll go in there and I'll be like, pick whatever you want. I'll eat. I'll try whatever sauce you have. And so the guys are like, oh, what's the hottest thing? Let them try that one. Let them try this one. Like, yep, that's fine. Well, one day we walked across the street. There's a candy store, and there's these gummy bears, and it was this box about so big. There's one gummy bear in it, and it was like $10.
What?
And it says the world's hottest gummy bear, and I just kind of laughed it off. We walk over to the Pepper Palace, and I'm like, yeah, these are, these aren't too hot. And he goes, I'm like, well, what about that gummy bear
Gummy
across
bear?
the street there? And they're like, now that's 9.5 million Scoville units. The hottest that we have in the store is like 2.5 million.
What do they put in this thing?
Yeah.
It's just it's like, how do you even, that ain't right. Like, is that even fun to eat?
No. So the one of my guys at work with, he's like, hey, I'll buy this for you, and
Yeah, don't
oh,
tell me you did it.
I can't do it today. Well, the next time we went down there, we'll walk in there, and he goes, I got $10 right now. I'll buy this, but you have to eat it right now. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And the lady's like, you're not eating it in my store. Every time somebody does that, they throw up. You can't eat this in my store. You have to eat it outside. Okay. So we buy it. I open up my little container. I take it out and I eat it. And I sit there and I look at the guy. And I'm like, yep, it's getting hot. Yep. And I can feel it. And he looked at me like, How dare you? How dare you not explode? How dare you just like monologue this just like it's nothing? And
Dan has no taste buds left.
no taste buds left. My
He's a
wife just
grandpa.
walked in. She knows I don't have any taste buds left. She's laughing
Our
right
man
now.
has burnt off all his taste buds. Nothing is hot
But
enough anymore.
then it hit my stomach.
Oh,
And heat wasn't the issue. It's what it did inside of me that made this little gummy bear from Hades $10 for one gummy bear. And it tore me up um the worst way you can think
no.
of.
And see, this is what people don't realize. They want hot, 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 hot sauce. And eating it is one thing, but it goes all the way out, people. If it burns going in, it's going to burn on the way out too.
See,
Nope.
these taste buds, these are burned out. These are numb, right? My mouth is numb, but my insides is not numb. Not
Let's just
not numb.
say killed all the bacteria, good and bad, reset the
Everything.
system from scratch.
Scar tissue, right?
Oh, God.
So
You're-
probably not. Maybe.
Someday
Maybe.
later, Dan's having an endoscopy, and the doctor's like, "Why is there all this scar tissue? What happened to you?" It's like $10 gummy bear.
Did you eat like a piece of coal or something that's still on fire? Just
Oh
I
no!
don't know.
Secret aardvark habanero burns both ends, but it's a good.
Okay.
So we were talking about my hot sauce, right? And because I have my 3 that I do, and they're, to me, I would say they're medium to medium hot, depending on your tolerance. A lot of people who are used to hot sauce, so for Dan, they'd probably be mild.
Ketchup.
But I'm more focused on flavor as opposed to being hot. However, I turned out this batch of it's called Jack's Revenge. And that's because when I run campaigns, I do these stretch goals called the slice and dice, right? So on the slice and dice, when we hit this dollar amount, I let people vote on a name for a fruit or vegetable, like a pumpkin, a watermelon. In this case, it was a jackfruit. And then they get to vote on a weapon of destruction. So on the Tuesday morning brew, we will do a slice and dice. I will dress up as Pikachu because that is a thing. I don't know how it got started, but that we did it the first time and it just stuck. And then I will destroy the jackfruit, and they named it Jack the Ripper, right? So Jack the Ripper had googly eyes. It was hilarious. We lit him up with some sparklers because it was right after 4th of July. And then I bashed him. Well, I chopped him actually because the readers had voted for this 2-handed axe. So he got chopped to bits, but I had enough left over where I can make hot sauce. And normally the batch takes 10 habaneros, and this was my mango habanero recipe. But I bought more habaneros. They were on sale. So I put 15 habaneros in the batch with the jackfruit, and I got 8 bottles. So we got 15 habaneros and 8 bottles of sauce. It's hot. Yeah. So I hope people will appreciate Jack's Revenge because, again, it is the jackfruit that I disassembled on the show. It is that jackfruit.
Now, jackfruit's like a savory kind of fruit, right?
It's sweet. It's I had never had it before, Dan, and it's a sweet it almost tastes like bubble gum.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very fiber. It has a lot of fiber in it, both soluble and insoluble fiber. Don't need a lot of it all at once. I learned that the hard way, unless you want your insides cleaned out, because that's what happened. But yeah, it's sweet and sticky. It's very sticky. So it was interesting. But yeah, so that sucker is now bottled with a beautiful label called Jack's Revenge. And it's
Jack's
hot.
Revenge. Nice. Yeah, I've been on kind of a sweet kick lately. I've been doing one of the little bottles. It was like a peach bourbon hot sauce. It's a real sweet, and then sriracha honey. That one was a really good flavor. And then the Yellowbird makes a blue agave hot sauce, blue agave
Ooh.
sriracha, and I love it. I put that on my bagels, cream cheese.
That
I
sounds
put it
good.
on. Oh yeah, it's really good. But I'd probably say my favorite, just for flavor, Yeah, I could see vegan pulled pork, which
Yeah,
I've heard is kind of a savory thing. That's why when you said it tastes like bubble gum, I was like, yeah,
it
what's
does.
okay?
It's like pineapple, but not pineapple. Kind of.
Okay.
It's not as acidic as pineapple. It's
Okay.
definitely its own unique flavor. And oh my gosh, Dan, we started talking about hot sauce, and I stopped paying attention to the time. We have only a few more minutes, but I want to make sure before we end the show that you tell people your socials. I'm sorry, we got off on a hot sauce tangent. Tell people your socials so that way they can follow you. And of course, everybody, please go check out the Kickstarter. That is where you should start, and then go on to other places. But let me share the
Okay.
screen again. Just
So
to
there it is.
oh, that's fine. Go
Stained
here first.
Stained Glass Comics. You can find me on IG. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me. Let's see, where else am I on? That's the main
Mm.
two that you'll find me on. Do I have somebody else?
Are you on
Twitter.
X or Threads, or is anybody on
X.
Threads?
Yeah.
I'm on Threads, but that's about it. Me and like
I'm
4
not
people.
on Threads. Instagram. Really, the best thing is my Facebook. My MySpace page. Nah, just kidding.
You got me for a second. I was like, what? Do you have an AOL email address?
No, I do have an AOL. Somebody I know does.
That's funny.
And it's funny because they just recently, in the last couple of years, got it.
That's
But
hilarious. Why? All right. All right.
so yeah,
So,
come check it out.
yeah, absolutely. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Sending some love out to Pilled, just because this is the first time our show was playing over there. We had Bruce Q. Wayne there. Again, Cosmac was kind of jumping back and forth. I'm not sure who Maven is, but I think we should be friends. Happy Tuesday, Maven. It was nice seeing you. So thank you again, everybody, for watching, and be excellent to each other.
Be
Kiss your
excellent to each other.
babies. Yeah, and we'll be back here again next week, talking to more indie comic creators. All right, you guys have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Laurie.
Absolutely.
Do you have my espresso bean?
How'd you get out of prison?
Good lawyer. Enough, Doc. Where's my bean?
I don't have it.
Jimmy's been kidnapped. Help me, and I'll do anything.
What's in it for me?
Information about your mother. Detective Mickey Potatoes is back, and this time the stakes are higher than ever. A priceless espresso bean is missing and a life is on the line. Join Mickey in an all-ages noir adventure packed with comedy, suspense, and heart. Support Detective Potatoes, Lord of the Bean on Kickstarter, and unlock exclusive rewards. Books, poker chips, minifigures, and more. Back the campaign today and help bring this thrilling mystery to life. Support independent storytelling. Support Detective Potatoes.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.